Hi, Adiel. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. I've been working on your organization and all that for almost 5 hours, and I should have done everybody's video by now. And I've only worked on yours, and I'm getting emails wanting me to get back with them with their video. So you'll have to read a lot of this. But what you did, when we look at what you did on your Noodle Tools, you don't have any piles. You just did 20 cards, just and when you look at them, they're all over the place. I don't know what you're trying to do with your thesis or anything. And the reason I don't know is because you don't know. You don't really have a research question and a thesis. I have said over and over again, make sure you have the word should in there over and over again. So you should not have missed that. Then, when you're doing your research, you make sure that it has everything that you're getting has something to do with your main points. And you should have three and then one counter argument. Like I said, it took 5 hours to format this and all of that. I cannot do that for you anymore. You're going to have to organize your work. And and you do have one more project. It's 300 points. So you need to work on it. And if you don't understand something, you need to jump on it. But your biggest problem is organization. You have to organize all these cards into subsections. So this is what your original one looks like, but this is not what it's supposed to look like. So let me see if I can find how you're supposed to have it. Okay. Let me get a new share here. Okay, it should look like this. If this were the note card side, you should have at least, well, you could, because we're not doing the introduction and conclusion. So you're doing your first main point, second main point, third main point, counter argument. Count that, that's 4. And each one of these parentheses here counts for a pile, and you didn't make those. Okay, you didn't make 4. So what I did is I tried to organize your cards, but I had to rename some of them. So here's an example. You had Canceling American Minds. I put propaganda, but I kept your title in there in gray. So you see, I struck yours out, but you'll find them under those names in gray. So I put all of these in one pile, which is the definition. I put all of these in one pile, which is destroying people and their careers. I put these in one pile, that's counter argument. And then I put these in one pile, which is your third and most important point of view, which is trying to dummy down university professors and students. And I'm sorry, I didn't have time to look for a synonym for dummy down. That's your job. Okay, so this is what it should look like, and it doesn't. So that's what you're going to have to work on. So again, what I just went over with you, this is what your page looks like now. This is what your page should look like. In fact, I'm going to make it bigger. This is what it should look like when you're finished on Noodle Tools with your outline. Okay, so I actually, if you look, I do give you your research question. Oh no, hold on. You can't see that. Okay, hold it just a second. Okay, so your outline should look like this. You should have your research question, up there where the light bulb is on Noodle Tools. Should cancel culture be considered a threat to society? It has the word should. If you want to say must, that's fine too, but it has to have one of those strong verbs in there. Okay, consider this for your thesis, which you should have written at the very beginning. You have no roadmap if you don't have a thesis. You're wandering aimlessly through the research without really knowing what you need to get and support. So you got to have that first off. If you don't have a thesis, you're going to have a horrible essay. It's not going to pass. So you need to take responsibility for that. And in the next project you do, you need to write that thesis. And I want to see the 3 supporting points. Okay, you'll have your introduction. I put lead introduction of the topic, and if you need another sentence for it, good, add one. If you don't, no. Then I put for the thesis, cancel culture is a type of bullying that should be considered a threat to society because it can destroy people and their careers and lead to, well, actually, that was my old one. Okay, you did the definition first, and then you're gonna do the last in attempts to quieten or quash or whatever universities, professors and students. They don't want them to learn complicated literature because they don't want them to gain any more knowledge than they have, the people who are involved in cancel culture. Okay, something to that effect. So Roman numeral 2 would be your definition of cancel culture. So I used these right here, these cards from your original screen. I can't remember, you had 2 piles. I don't know why you had those 2 piles. They weren't your really piles. I don't really know what they were. Okay, so then you had one called Canceling American Minds, and I called it propaganda, but it's under that. And then the white supremacist one, because it's explaining what that is. You can also have cancel culture with black on white, black on Hispanic. It's not just white on black. Okay, and then it's right here. These are cards that need to be put in here and in the second main point. And these are your cards that should go into your counter argument, that it can be diminished. I don't think it's ever going to go away. These are ways to do it. And then the last main point is it's trying to make people stupid. And so how do you do that? How can you affect a bunch of people at one time? You go to universities and colleges where kids are trying to learn things, and you forbid them from reading certain things. So those 3 go there. And then here is, and I think I have an explanation of that somewhere else. But what I'm really working on is Roman numeral 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to get those done. Okay, so then, okay, let's stop for just a second. So what you're going to do, go back and look at the one that says ADL 2. That's the title of it. You got ADL 1, what things look like now and how they should look at the bottom. Okay, now you've got ADL 2 that actually has all the cards over here. They're not in the same, I've got them kind of more like an outline deal. The piles are what the main points are, but you need to get all of these corrected over here. And if they need, and then what you do is you open your outline, and but you're going to have to do it over, because you're going to have right here, and it won't let me do it, but you're going to have to put the definition of cancel culture, and then you're going to start dragging the cards. What I've got the title of a card. You won't have an A, B, C, or D. You just drag the card. Well, I'm sorry. Drag the card to whatever the main point is. Okay. And then you drag another one to that until you have all 3 or 4 of them. Okay, then you go to the other pile, and the second one is destroying lives and people, their careers. Then you're going to look at the cards that I put under there, and you're gonna you're gonna drag all of them under that one. And then you're gonna go to your counter argument and go to that the parenthesis that shows that all of those cards, I think there are 3 that go under there. You're going to drag each one of them over to here, and it will pop up down here, but it won't have an A, B, or C. You're going to do the same thing with this. Okay. Don't worry about the conclusion at this point. And I'm sorry, but I've spent over 5 hours now. Just go over it and over it until you can understand that you did do the research, but you had no idea of what direction you were going in. You didn't know what point you wanted to make because you didn't have your thesis. You had no idea what your main points are, and I cannot do that for you. So you'll struggle next time if you can't organize your thoughts. That should be done before your research. As I said, yeah, I may take an hour next time, but I cannot possibly tell you all this all over again. Good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.